Live from the Caterpillar Global Communications Center at Bradley University, this is BUTV News.
Good evening and welcome to BUTV News. I'm Anthony Landau.
And I'm Imani Shamsuddin. Let's take a look at the news.
The weather is getting colder, the days are getting shorter, and fall is finally amongst us. And you know what that means? Homecoming week. And this week was kicked off with a bang.
Hello, I'm Ben Pollard, and tonight we're here at the Lighting of the Bee, one of Bradley University's many homecoming events this week. Let's go around and ask some students how they're feeling tonight and what they're excited for during this homecoming week. On Monday night, the Lighting of the Bee offered many activities for students to partake in as they waited for the light to turn on. While waiting, the large turnout of Braves ate free food and played various games. Students tried their best to show off their soccer skills with Soccer Bullseye. Bag toss, or cornhole, was also a very popular game, as many students competed against one another. The homecoming court announcements were a success, as students were greeted with loud applause and cheers. Braves even showed off their strength with the hammer hit. The lip sync battle featured two teams. The winning group lip synced to Finesse by Bruno Mars. Each performance was high energy and quite entertaining. We've walked around the quad and looked at all of the events. Now let's go talk to some students and get their thoughts about the upcoming events this week. What is your favorite part of the entire homecoming week?
That they give out free food, so I don't have to pay money.
I only really knew about this. I know that the Bradley Dash is coming up, but I'm not going to be doing that. A part of it, I'll watch it though. But that and this is probably the two most biggest things.
Well, the soccer game is on my birthday, so I'm pretty hyped for that.
What are you looking forward to the most this entire week?
Weekend. The weekend, yeah. Yeah, classes. No, I'm just kidding. No, man, nothing special.
Right before the Lighting of the Bee, the Bravettes showed off an exciting new dance routine. Shortly after, the bee was lit and the crowd erupted with cheers. Fireworks littered the sky, and the successful evening came to an end. The bee has been lit and the night is over. Be sure to attend the rest of Bradley's homecoming events this week. For BUTV News, I'm Ben Pollard.
Though many think Lighting of the Bee was the first event, the festivities actually began last Friday. Our own Taylor Musgrove finds out just why painting of the Lydias is the perfect start for such an exciting week.
ACBU is kicking off homecoming week with an event that brings all organizations on campus together. The painting of the Lydia gets students geared up for the events to come. Last Friday, students piled into the basement of Markin to make their own versions of the university's founder, Lydia Bradley. Almost every student organization was in attendance, which, according to the Critical Issues Coordinator of ACBU, makes the painting of Lydia so special.
I think it's kind of a low-key way to start off homecoming week before we go right into it with Lighting with the Bee, but I also like the kind of unity that it brings into our campus with all of these different organizations getting together for this single event.
At the event, members of ACBU walked around to help different groups, students enjoyed cupcakes, and even celebrated a peer's birthday. But the highlight of the event was the creativity shown by Bradley's student body. Definitely enough to get people pumped up for what's in store for homecoming week.
Because I'm a freshman, so I've never experienced it before, and planning it's been really fun so far. Even just helping out in the ways we can, it's been great.
I'm really excited for students to have school spirit this week and be able to kick off the middle of the semester.
For more information on homecoming week, be on the lookout for emails from Hilltop Happenings. For BUTV News, I'm Taylor Musgrove.
This past weekend, Barbecue Kittens showed students what improv is all about. They showcased many games and skills that brought many laughs to the audience. Barbecue Kittens is a student-run improv group that began in 2003. They started with short forms of improv games such as Whose Line Is It Anyway? Students involved with this group are faced with many challenges when it comes to performing. Suggestions are taken from the audience, and then they are brought to life.
The challenge that we faced is kind of a loss of culture over the last couple of years. We haven't been focusing as much on what it means to be a kitten and the commitments that it requires, the kind of quality of performance we should be performing, and things like that.
If you're interested in checking out what Barbecue Kitten does and want to get involved, be sure to catch their open rehearsals open to the public on Wednesday nights outside of Bradley Hall from 10:30 to midnight, or their upcoming shows on October 13th, November 4th, and December 3rd at New Miller Hall.
This past Tuesday, Bradley hosted a naturalization ceremony where over 650 people became U.S. citizens, and our own Joey Simo attended the event to find out more.
On Tuesday morning, over 650 immigrants had the honor of becoming U.S. citizens during a nationalization ceremony held inside Bradley University's Renaissance Coliseum. The ceremony was presided over by Chief District Judge James Shadid, Bradley's President Gary Roberts, Peoria Mayor Jim Artis, and members of the Bradley Board of Trustees. The national anthem was sang by a Bradley music student with help from 100 local 8th graders, followed by a speech from Melissa Fuentes. Hundreds of proud family members were also in attendance. After the ceremony had concluded, our new citizens received official certificates and were allowed to sign up immediately to register to vote. Bradley's Civic Engagement Committee also offered voter registration for students. At the start of the ceremony, immigrants from 80 different countries walked into the Coliseum. At the conclusion, they all walked out as citizens of the United States of America and as role models for other immigrants striving to do the same. For BUTV News, I'm Joey Simo.
Last Sunday, Sigma Delta Tau, Alpha Chi Omega, and Theta Chi hosted a mini music festival on the Alumni Quad. The event was called Film Fest, and it began in order to raise money for the 3 Greek life organizations' philanthropies. A number of rocking indie bands made an appearance, and each of their sets was followed by an excited applause from the music-loving crowd in attendance. While attending the event was free of charge, the Greek organizations actually raised money through selling a number of tasty snacks like cotton candy, snow cones, and more at tables that circled the back half of the quad.
Oh, your love is wasted, and then who the hell was I?
If you ever thought about doing community service, you've probably heard about Service on Saturday, but if you're unfamiliar with it, we sent Thomas Pickering to last weekend's event to see what it's all about.
Every month, Bradley students have an opportunity to give back to the community in an organized event called Service on Saturday. Service on Saturday is run by SERVE, a student organization that coordinates different service opportunities throughout the year. Volunteers are split into different groups that each go to a different location around central Illinois. Last Saturday, I traveled with one group to Chillicothe's Coal Hollow Park, where volunteers use shovels, saws, and sledgehammers to add stairs to a forest path and tear apart wooden pellets that had been left to rot. Though the weather was considerably cooler than it had been over the last few days, they still had to brave mosquitoes and other insects, as well as the physical strain of hauling wood and digging trenches. To understand more about Service on Saturday and why it's so important, I talked to Catherine Carricker, the ad executive of SERVE.
I think it's really important for them to engage in the Peoria community. I think it really humbles you. It allows you to, learn about the issues that are present in our community, and I think, it allows you to also engage with your other students. You get to meet new people, you get to do projects you've probably never done before.
During the event, we met several volunteers from the Chillicothe Park District, who all seemed grateful for the Bradley volunteers' help. It just goes to show that the opportunities provided by Service on Saturday demonstrate that giving back to the community extends far beyond the Bradley campus. For BUTV News, I'm Thomas Pickering, Peoria, Illinois.
Are you interested in making a difference in your community? Bradley University offers students an opportunity each Friday to do just that. Every Friday, Bradley students can help pick up trash around the Bradley campus and surrounding neighborhoods in a new club called the BU Cleanup Crew. This club was started by a Bradley senior, Melanie Wijenski, out of a passion for public service and a desire to help both the community and Bradley students. We talked to Melanie about what inspired her to start the club and what its goals are.
So my assistant coach, I play on the tennis team, just came from tennis. He has been picking up litter with the city of Peoria for a long time, and so he kind of got me into it. And I thought after a while, this would be a great thing to bring to Bradley, not only to help the Peoria community look better and to help the environment, but also to give the students a sense of fulfillment in being able to help their city.
The club meets every Friday at 11 o'clock in the Markin Recreation Center. If you'd like to learn more about the club, you can email Malini at bradleycleanupcrew BUTV@gmail.com.
Stick with us. Coming up next, Larry Larson will have your weather forecast.
And Kelly Rogers has the latest in entertainment news. We'll be right back.
To Maddie, congrats on paying off all those student loans.
Finally, right?
How'd you manage that anyway?
I started tracking my spending, changed a couple of habits.
Wow, I'm kind of living paycheck to paycheck right now. I don't even know how I'm doing it.
Well, have you tried saving a little?
I want to, but where's that money gonna come from? Bill collectors, they're the worst. Am I right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
Not home.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Find fun activities to do, like boating and biking, or camping and hiking, plus much more. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
All right, guys, so what'd you think about the first day of fall-like weather?
I thought it was cold,
Yeah,
honestly.
it's time for flannel season. That's all I'm saying.
It was a little bit chilly. I had to break out the jeans, actually. But you know what? Actually, the weather may not stay like that for the rest of the week. But first, there was a cold front that swept through the area yesterday that brought some rain and some cooler temperatures that we're feeling now. Taking a look at the radar, the rain has moved out of our area a few hours ago, or actually more like 12 hours ago. And as you can see, there were no clouds or rain to be seen around today, just a bunch of high-level clouds. Taking a look at the temperatures, those were absolutely perfect, barely touching 70, if that. 67 in Peoria, 68 in Chicago, 70 in St. Louis. The temperatures will drop all the way down to the 40s tonight, so be prepared to break out a few extra blankets, and it will be very cool tomorrow morning, so be prepared to keep the sweatshirts out. Taking a look at the dew points, they are a far cry from what they were last week. They were in the mid-70s last week. Now they're very dry. That's a trademark of fall weather, is dry air. That's what causes, those sniffy noses and allergies. So this is a good sign that fall is coming. Taking a look at the 5-day forecast, we've got kind of a perfect day tomorrow. Slight chance of rain. It's going to be cool again. Then it heats up a little bit this weekend. It's going to get a little cooler, and then it's going to spike all the way back up to the high 70s and maybe even touch 80 yet again next week. That's it for weather. Let's throw it over to Kelly for entertainment.
Bill Cosby, once known as America's Dad, was sentenced yesterday for 3 to 10 years in state prison for drugging and sexually assaulting a woman in his home 14 years ago. He was ordered to pay a $25,000 fine plus the cost of prosecution as a part of his sentence. In addition, Cosby will be classified as a sexually violent predator. He was accused in 2004, but the case was settled in a civil court a year later, which many agree was due to his fame status. This season of Dancing with the Stars officially kicked off Monday night with performances from the 13 couples. Contestants ranging from former Bachelorette contestant grocery star Joe to NFL star DeMarcus Ware, this star-studded season was set up for some good competition. And while every show has a winner, it must also have a first loser. And that title unfortunately fell on comedian Nikki Glaser. The former Fresh Prince himself turned the big 5-0 this week, and his celebration may not be what you would expect. Streamed live on his YouTube channel, Will Smith, hands on his head and grin on his face, bungee jumped from a helicopter over the Grand Canyon. Being cheered on by his family and former co-star Alfonso Ribeiro, Smith's jump was a success, and he would, quote, definitely do it again. I don't know about you guys, but I would definitely not jump out of a helicopter.
I actually would.
Whoa! That's news.
Okay.
I wouldn't bungee jump at all, honestly.
Oh my, yeah, me neither. Wow, Monty. After this break, we'll sit down with Chris Noonan to talk about bad movies.
And later, we stepped outside and off campus for this week's Around Town. Stick with us.
Hey, what's up? Do you want to come over and watch the debate tonight?
I don't really care what they have to say. So, no.
Well, don't you want to hear what they have to say before you vote?
Well, I'm not even registered to vote, so it doesn't matter to me.
Are you kidding me? Your vote matters now more than ever.
Is my one vote really going to make a difference? I mean, I don't even have time to register.
What? No, it's so easy to register right now. Seriously, there are some things that are a lot harder than registering to vote. Like getting out of bed in the morning, or like cramming last minute for a midterm, or trying to stop your latest TV binge. And, are you even listening to me?
Oh, while you were talking, I actually just registered to vote online. Turns out it's super easy.
Register to vote and find your local polling place at ova.elections.il.gov.
What should I say? Screw it. What if he doesn't see it? Will he care? It's taking too long. I need to call him. Nothing. No one.
We can all prevent suicide. Learn more at suicidepreventionlifeline.org.
Well, it may be hard to believe, but Around Town is back for a second week in a row with fresh content and even fresher smells. Troy Robertson has the latest.
Welcome to this week's Around Town. My name is Troy Robertson, and this week we are at the Luthi Botanical Gardens. Can't wait to show you what the facilities have to offer. The George L. Luthi Memorial Botanical Garden is a public park that doubles as a conservatory. It houses over 300 species of plants and boasts a year-round tropical greenhouse amongst its many features. The grounds are open year-round to those who appreciate the beauty of global flora, and as one groundskeeper explains, price is no barrier.
We are open 10 to 5 every day, and our admission is free. We are a free admission facility as part of the Peoria Park District, but we always welcome donations, of course.
In addition to its permanent exhibits, Luthi Botanical Garden hosts several seasonal shows and themed series. Currently, visiting students can expect to see art classes underway in the greenhouse and engage their senses with scratch and sniff plants that mimic unexpected fruits and flowers. Although certain programs are catered towards specific age groups, Luthi encourages visitors to participate in whatever they are most interested in. Bob Streetmeyer mentions one upcoming show that may appeal to those looking to experience something magical.
October 5th through November 28th, we have a chrysanthemum show, and it's themed around Harry Potter, so it's sort of cool. You might see Hermione or Harry here, and we have some classes, but they're all devoted for kids mostly, so we have a lot of classes, but the main thing is the floral shows and that type of thing.
That's all for this week. Thanks for tuning in to Around Town as we turned over a new leaf with the Luthi Botanical Gardens. My name is Sherry Oberson with BUTV News. See you next week.
With over 204 clubs on Bradley's campus, it can be hard to stand out in the crowd, but that's no problem for the unique Bad Movie Club. Here with us today is the founder and president, Chris Noonan. Chris, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so Bad Movie Club, tell me, like, what was the inspiration behind starting it?
Well, there's actually three big inspirations for me. Number one, of course, being Mystery Science Theater 3000, which is a popular TV show where for famous comedians just watching bad films and making fun of them. Another one was this one night, me and my friends were just sitting around and we were watching a movie called Thanksgiving. We saw the movie on demand and we were like, that sounds hilarious. So we just sat together, watched it, and made fun of it. And I thought, why not do this with more people?
Okay. Do you think, so in terms of you sitting around with your friends, when you brought it to, you know, become an actual club, did you find it hard in that process to create it, or?
Starting the club itself wasn't a problem. It's pretty easy to start a club here. I think we have a serial club on campus, so it's not that difficult. But as far as getting a movie club started, to show films on campus, you have to buy the rights of the films to screen them. And some of these films cost like up to $300 per film. So you have to get funding rights from SARBC. And our first semester, actually, we got 0 funding. So all the films we showed were public domain. But this semester, we were showing 9 films.
Nice. What's one of the worst movies that you'd say you'd shown so far?
Well, that's a good question. The best worst film, I would say, would be The Room. Obviously, Tommy Wiseau's famous terrible film. But the worst film we've ever shown is a film called Zontal, The Thing from Venus. It was just so bad, you just couldn't even, you didn't even want to make jokes. It was just bad. Just sat there with friends and like, what is this?
So when people come to watch these movies, what do you hope that they take away from the experience when they're with you?
With Bad Movie Club, I just want people to have a good and relaxing time. I know school can be stressful with like exams and just like school in general is just stressful, especially like for freshmen coming to college for the first time. I want Bad Movie Club to be a way for people to make new friends and just like have a good time and just relax a little bit. Take your mind off things.
Well, thank you so much for being with us. That sounds super exciting, and I'm sure this will engage a lot more people to come out and see it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Back to Anthony.
Thanks, Amani. There are many popular games for Bradley students to enjoy in their time off to distress and have fun, but for some students, gaming is a vital part of the Bradley experience.
There is certainly no shortage of gamers here at Bradley University's campus. However, there's one game that has especially gotten a cult following. League of Legends is a popular online multiplayer game in which teams must work together in order to destroy their opponent's base, otherwise known as their nexus. For sophomore Griffin Kemp, secretary of the group, conducting and leading this group of players is a labor of love.
So yeah, it's a 5v5 game where you select over 100 or more champions to try to destroy the other team's nexus.
The group meets every Friday for a laid-back gameplay environment where winning and losing take the back seat to having fun.
I'm really hoping that they can see that there's more to League than just you're grinding or playing by yourself, that there really is a different community out there and you can have fun while playing even if you are losing.
While they make time in their busy schedules to gather and hone their skills at League of Legends, it is quite clear that camaraderie comes first for these avid players.
You're never not going to laugh when you're here. It's always something funny going on. And so if you want a good time, just come here. Win or lose, we're going to have fun.
Another standard.
I'm Nelson Gutierrez, BUTV News.
In honor of Homecoming Week, we stopped by the Student Center to see what students knew, if students knew any Bradley in this week's Campus Convos. I'm sorry.
We're here at the Student Center asking students questions about homecoming for this week's Campus Convos. What year was the first lighting of the bee ceremony?
Oh shoot. 1928.
Not sure.
Oh, come on. These are not questions. These are hard. I don't know.
Probably when there was, after Bradley Hall burnt down, maybe. I don't know.
Let's do in the 1990s.
Sorta close. It's 1928.
Oh, that's not even close.
What was Bradley Hall's original name?
Lydia Hall.
You guys at least want to like random guess?
Give us some hints. Give us some hints.
Okay.
What exactly is it?
The first word is the name of our school.
I don't know. I could not guess.
Bradley Hall.
Okay, it's really hard. It's Bradley Polytechnic Institute Tower.
So, the new one's better.
Can you name any famous alumni from Bradley?
Oh, yeah. The guy from the Dead from the Middle.
So there's Jeff Morrow, who was on Food Network Star. There's Major Robert Lawrence, and then he was the first African-American astronaut. And then there's the girl that was on The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Know their faces if I saw them. Can't think of a name right now, but
We had some great combos here at the Student Center. For BUTV, I'm Nicole Pfaff.
Neil Flynn was the Dead from the Middle. Coming up, Carly Chano will have your latest in Bradley athletics.
And later, we'll take a look at some upcoming events around campus.
So good to see you guys. So, what's up?
Oh, we finally bought a place.
Holy cow.
You seriously have enough saved to do that?
We've been putting a little aside each month.
Jeez, at the end of the month, we have nothing left to save.
Yeah, I have no idea where it goes.
Well, you're spending a lot on...
Was it good?
Oh, God.
Oh, how is my account overdrawn?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
For too long, there's been too much silence.
We've stepped back when we should have stepped up.
We lack the bravery to have the tough conversations.
It stops now.
It stopped with us.
As campus leaders, we recognize that sexual assault is a real problem.
And it's time to take action.
We're standing together as a community because this issue affects all of us.
And we can only end it if we are braver together.
Starting now, we don't look the other way. We make it a move and do something.
Before it's too late.
We promote a culture of respect for all students.
We say something even when it's easier to remain silent.
We stand up for survivors.
We never blame them.
We hold our friends, our leaders, our teammates,
and ourselves accountable for our actions.
And when we see something wrong, we're brave enough to interrupt. We say something.
We do something. We watch out for each other.
Always.
Being a Bradley Brave means
ending the silence.
Together, we can work to end sexual assault and rape culture in our community.
Together, we can do the right thing.
Together, we can do the brave thing. Make your move and stand with us.
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 And we can all be braver together.
All right, Bradley had a pretty good week last week with sports. Are you
That's
guys
what I
excited
like to
for
hear.
the homecoming game this weekend?
I think all of BUTV should go.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes.
I agree.
Right?
Be a really good game.
Soccer.
Yeah, I'm excited. But all right, so getting into sports this past weekend, Bradley volleyball began its Missouri Valley slate with the road wins against Southern Illinois and Missouri State this weekend. The win against SIU came in the form of a sweep thanks to 11 kills from senior Erica Haslag and a double-double by freshman Hannah Thompson. At Missouri State, the Braves won a high-intensity match, all 4 sets decided by 3 points or less. Haslag and Thompson led the way again, combining for 34 kills in the second match of the weekend. The Braves are on a 6-game winning streak for the first time since 2005, and the wins bring Bradley's record up to 12-2, the best start in program history. The Braves return home this weekend for matches against Indiana State and Evansville at Renaissance Coliseum. Switching gears, Bradley soccer suffered its first loss of the year on Saturday afternoon at the hands of Central Arkansas. Nicholas Berdacki scored twice for Central Arkansas as they rolled to a 3-0 win over the Braves. Albert Rainward made 6 saves for the Braves, but they would not be enough as Bradley only managed to get 3 shots on goal.
The loss ends Bradley's second longest unbeaten streak in school history at 12 games. The team returns home this Saturday to play Loyola of Chicago for homecoming at 7 p.m. at Shea Stadium. Admission to the game is free to students, faculty, and staff. Bradley women's tennis hosted its first home matches of the season in the Bradley Invitational. Sophomores Sandra Malatin and Kinga Kovacs each won their brackets, posting 3-0 records in the tournament. 3 Braves also came in third place in their respective brackets. The next meet for the Braves is the Missouri Valley Individual Championships, October 5th, 6th, and 7th. The men's golf team finished in 5th place yesterday at the Derek Dolanek Invitational at SIU Edwardsville. The team posted a 3-round score of 7 over par and was led by senior Drake Bashong, who shot even par in the tournament. The score earned him 7th place at the Invitational, the first top 10 finish of his career. Bradley returns to play next week in Des Moines for the Zach Johnson Invitational.
It's all good. Bradley's swords have been like really good.
They've been really good. The soccer teams are doing good.
A little shit.
A little bit.
They were a lot better than last year. Like, really like stepping up this year.
I'm sad about that first loss.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That,
just
they've been doing really well.
Well, coming up after the break, we'll take a look at some of the upcoming events around campus.
Followed by a musical guest you just won't want to miss.
Looks like it's done.
Don't let salmonella get funky with your chicken. On average, 1 in 6 Americans will get a foodborne illness this year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So learn the right temperature to cook each type of meat. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
I'll be right back.
Hi! You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
Don't let E. coli mosh with your food. An estimated 3,000 Americans die from a foodborne illness each year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So always separate raw meat from vegetables. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
Let's take a look at what's going around campus this week. Homecoming week continues, and so does the festivities tomorrow. Night is the annual Bradley Bowl. The teacher versus student football game will take place on the Alumni Quad at 5 p.m. Following the Bradley Bowl will be the homecoming concert on Friday night. The retro pop band Fly By Midnight will be performing on Olin Quad starting at 5 p.m. Finally, the homecoming soccer game will be Saturday evening at Shea Stadium starting at 7 p.m. Come support the Braves as they take on Loyola and show your school spirit. Well, that's it for BUTV News this week. We leave you with a performance by Architect. Have a great night.
I'm wicked clever, depicting a better picture, inflicting the proper measures of pain and pleasure, a mixture. You better study the scripture, it's it from the safe elixir to the minister in holy water just to watch him blister. Even he can be sinister, heavenly father finisher. I'll diminish everything so I can replenish the non-refillable, filling the paper with syllables. Minimal criminals have always performed their own rituals, virtually admissible in a system that's not so simple. But I peek when I pick with this pencil. They can infiltrate your own temple. It's infuriating my mental that they're using you like a rental. Try to prick your finger, no thimble. Trace your life like a stencil. See these fiscal figures pulling triggers, trigger defenders, then start a war conjuring many contenders till somebody surrenders. Won't be me, I'ma render you hopeless. I compose this, wrote this, and expose this. Exercising all these instrumentals, intricate syllables, leave you grabbing your syllabus just to filament, cause my serum is different. Anybody come round, they be astounded that my bars will be better with people filming them. So give me the mic and slice, camera action. I'm packing heat that'll make you go home and quit rapping. So cut the slack.